Good evening, comrades. I've been reading my new article. It's entitled, Why Do We Fight to Gain Social Justice? Universally, every revolutionary fights one way or another for social justice. If the revolution is not based on justice, love, humanity, it is not real and therefore will not last. Why is socialism the best way to bring revolutionary change against the capitalist order in all her forms and illusions? Well, socialism is quite democratic if you actually look at it. Workers' rights, women's rights, minority rights are all falls into place under socialism with the basis of class struggle. No power concedes without demand. Things cannot be requested in such a condition of exploitation by the ruling class we see today. Negotiating and forgetting principles betraying the workers what we see the Democrats and the fake left who are really liberals are doing today. We need to build a united front of a left opposition of revolutionists ready to do what is needed for the new society. We have the same aims, the same enemy as many groups, and we must work together in our communities and not just online. As we see rebellions of youth spreading the globe, we must inspire the youth here, in many cases in worse conditions, to rebel as well. Discussions, yes, but if we forget the common enemy, the system of capital, and the forces of bourgeois reaction that protect her, and we forget that this is fundamentally about justice, then we will continue to be divided, confused, and regressed. We must make clear our objectives and not be ashamed to share them with the masses in the streets openly, confidently, with pride and joy that we are ultimately making a difference. In essence, a revolution of word is important, as well as action. We see vanguard opportunists react to worker strikes here or there from private companies with middle-class workers fighting for better wages, uh, from Verizon to Hershey's. A general strike, a mass boycott, and other forms of civil disobedience and nonviolent tactics is what we need in this historical context, as it was in Russia up to October 1917. There are also those members of the working class and even petty bourgeois who authentically want to support the workers on strike and gain momentum. I am particularly with them, especially my class, the working class, in the struggle to maintain and spread strikes till demands are given into, and not just Wisconsin breadcrumbs of migrating rights, as was disputed in the Midwest, which is suffering from the depression. Actual figures show depression and recession figures of the economy since '08, when it used to be booming. Revolution must be permanent, international, whether starting from an industrial nation or not. To prevent failures and mistakes of the past, we must be ready for the task of revolution. Class consciousness is about educating the masses and bringing better conditions within the society from insurrection or rebellion, and this must be led by the oppressed, whether student in debt, a minority, a small farmer or worker, who have all been run over by the private corporations in a fascistic alliance with the government forces. The state represses while we continue to fight for an unjust society of laws that are applied to one people one way and other people another, is bound to have instances of revolt, as we see in Philadelphia, where the Declaration of Independence was signed, starting the first revolution before the French or Russian, inspiring them later on. Nevertheless, we must recognize that in this country we are far behind comrades in Europe and the Middle East. These are isolated incidents. We must fight fear in order for the public to no longer step aside when it is time to defy the government and capitalism as we know it, which does not coincide with democracy and only protects the bourgeois elements of society. In other words, the elites, the bourgeoisie. The question is not only why do we fight, but who do we fight for, uh, and how do we fight them? Trotsky was one of the first to tell how to identify fascism, how to fight it, its dangers in the society as it rose out of Europe and spread to Asia. In the final analysis, however pessimistic or defeatist we may feel, comrades, we must be realists, optimists, balance it out, and be clear we are in the good fight for justice. We are on the right side, and history is on our side. Then we'll realize we can have a society where the concept of justice and harmony can come about for a new epoch, an era of true progress for future generations. Thank you, comrades.